Before the world knew our name, before our lens redefined Nollywood's biggest stories, there was just a young girl in Lagos with a restless heart, a dream too big to cage and something to prove. This is the story of Kemi Adetiba. Kemi Adetiba was simply a girl in Lagos, a city that never stood still. In the rumble of yellow buses and the deafening noise of street markets, she found her first lessons in storytelling, not from books, but from life unfolding all around her. Born into a family that lived and breathed media, her childhood was anything but ordinary. Her father, Dele Adetiba, was a towering figure in Nigerian broadcasting, a voice of authority, a man who helped shape how millions saw and heard the world around them. And her mother, Marian Adetiba, quietly powerful, deeply creative, added her own rhythm to the household. Between them, Kemi was raised in a world where storytelling was not just entertainment. It was influence, it was culture, it was power. On the surface, it might seem like her path was already written, that she would glide smoothly into the limelight, inheriting a legacy carved by the brilliance of those before her. But destiny doesn't hand you a director's chair. And in Nigeria, especially for a young woman, dreams this daring had to be fought for. Kemi's first act wasn't behind the camera, but in front of a microphone. She was a voice on radio, fresh, lively, filled with energy that made listeners lean in a little closer. People didn't just hear her, they remembered her. From radio, the stage expanded. Soon, she was in front of television cameras, hosting, presenting, commanding attention with wit and charisma that couldn't be ignored. To the casual eye, she was thriving, a rising star in Nigeria's media scene. But underneath the polished smiles and effortless delivery, something stirred, a quiet restlessness. Because deep down, she knew she wasn't meant to just present someone else's vision. She wanted to create her own. To move from the face on the screen to the mind that shaped what the screen could show. It wasn't enough to simply introduce stories. Kemi Adetiba wanted to tell them. Her first canvas wasn't a blockbuster film. It was music videos. The early 2000s in Nigeria was electric. Afrobeat was no longer just a sound, it was a revolution. It thumped from car radios on bustling Lagos streets, poured out of neighborhood parties, and pulsed through clubs filled with a generation rewriting what it meant to be Nigerian, African, global. And in the middle of this cultural storm was Kemi Adetiba, not on the stage, not behind the microphone, but behind the camera, quietly, carefully shaping the visual heartbeat of a movement. Her eye for detail, a love for rhythm, her instinct for story. All of it poured into 3-minute films that would later define a decade of Nigerian pop culture. Banky W, Wizkid, Olamide, Falz, Tiwa Savage, the titans of Afrobeat, many of them on the rise themselves, trusted a lens to capture their essence. And Kemi delivered. Bold, cinematic, fresh. Her style was not the regular flashy coats and bright colors. It had weight, drama, a sense of storytelling. Her videos went beyond selling songs to creating worlds. But here's the irony. While her work lit up television screens, while her visuals made stars shine brighter, the director herself remained invisible. Her name wasn't on the billboards. Her face wasn't in the magazines. She was the ghost in the machine, the hidden hand building a language of musical visuals that would inspire an entire generation of filmmakers to come. For every dazzling frame she created, Kemi wrestled with the same silent question. Will they ever see me? Because in an industry obsessed with stars, there was little space for the shadow artist behind the lens. And yet, even in those shadows, something extraordinary was taking shape. Without knowing it, Kemi Adetiba was training herself for something bigger, Every beat she caught, every shot she framed, every risk she took in those early videos was building the foundation for the director she was destined to become. The world might not have known her name yet, but the music did, and soon, so would cinema. Being a woman behind the camera in Nollywood wasn't just rare, it was nearly impossible. At the time, Nigeria's film industry was dominated by men. Producers, directors, decision makers. Women were often seen as actresses, singers, presenters, but not the visionaries behind the lens. And so when Kemi Adetiba stepped into that space, camera in hand, ambition in her chest, society raised an eyebrow. Some laughed, some dismissed, some told her flat out, directing is a man's world. Doors were closed, meetings ended quickly, voices doubted. But Kemi's persistence was louder than rejection. Her silence between projects was filled with study, practice, obsession. Every no only sharpened her determination to one day hear a resounding yes. And then came the call, the kind of call every dreamer imagines but few receive. A production company preparing a big-budget romantic comedy, lavish, ambitious, unprecedented in scale, was searching for a director. They wanted something different, something fresh, someone bold enough to capture not just a love story, but a moment in Nigerian cinema history. That film was The Wedding Party. For Kemi Adetiba, this was more than just a job offer. It was a reckoning. Years of invisibility, years of proving herself in music videos, years of battling stereotypes. All of it led to this one decision. Could she step onto the set of one of Nollywood's most ambitious projects and not only survive, but triumph? When Kemi said yes, she wasn't just taking a seat in the director's chair. She was breaking the frame, shattering an image of what a Nigerian director was supposed to look like. And as the cameras rolled on The Wedding Party, so too did a new chapter in Nollywood's history. December 2016, the lights dimmed, the red carpet unfurled, Lagos glittered with anticipation, and then it happened. The Wedding Party premiered. It wasn't just a film, it was an event. Families flocked to see it, couples saw themselves in it, Nigerians in the diaspora streamed it, shared it, celebrated it. It was laughter, love, and Lagos wrapped into 2 unforgettable hours. The box office numbers? Record-shattering. The reception? Electric. Kemi Adetiba had arrived. But success can be its own trap. Because the industry, the critics, even the audience, once they saw her brilliance in comedy, many assumed that was her destiny. Stay here, they whispered. Make us laugh, give us love stories, be the queen of romance. Some believed she had already peaked, that The Wedding Party was a masterpiece, a ceiling, but Kemi Adetiba had other plans. She wanted to tell stories that went deeper, stories that cut to the bone of power, corruption, loyalty, and betrayal. She wanted to take Nollywood somewhere darker, riskier, uncharted. And so, when many expected our next project to be another light-hearted box office darling, she made a gamble, a dangerous gamble, one that could either destroy the reputation she had built or catapult her into a realm no Nigerian filmmaker had dared to go. That gamble was called King of Boys. Unlike anything Nollywood had seen before, gritty, sprawling, unapologetically political, it was a story of ambition, of power, of a woman clawing her way to the throne in a man's world. It was in many ways a reflection of Kemi herself. In the next chapter, we'll see how King of Boys didn't just cement Kemi Adetiba's place in history. It rewrote the future of Nollywood. It gave her a new language in Nigerian cinema, and it opened doors for a new generation of women behind the camera, daring to dream because one woman dared to defy. This is Kemi Adetiba, Rise and Reign.